Grab your guns and either bunker down or go out hunting, because today I'm ranking the Purge franchise. I've already done this ranking before, but there's a new movie out, so I figured it was time for an update. Oh, and before we start, spoiler alert. As always, we start down at the bottom. Number 5 is the original Purge. This movie is a great example of how to take a great premise and waste most of its potential. It's kind of like Annabelle in that way. They take the Purge, something that would inherently affect the lower class more than the upper class, and they focus the story on a single upper-class white family. Lame. Ethan Hawke, Lena Headey, and Edwin Hodge are all good, and most of the action scenes are well done, but that's about it.
Did you enjoy Grace's Purge party, Mr. Halverson?
Fuck yourself.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It was very nice.
Well, good. I'm glad you all had a grand time. Did you hear what I said? No more killing tonight! Is it that hard to understand?
My other big problem with this movie is the final act. It basically turns into a home invasion movie, but the blocking is nonsensical, and they do a very poor job of establishing the layout of the house, where everything is in relation to everything else. For a movie where that's done properly, check out the original Halloween. As for this movie, my score is 2 out of 5. Alright, now some of these rankings have a couple movies that are like neck and neck, could go either way. For this ranking, that's number 3 and 4, but this is my current ranking, so I'm going to stick with it. Number 4 is the first Purge. First off, kudos for this poster. I love it. This movie has what might be the best action scene in the entire franchise. The stairwell fight is fucking awesome, and my one problem is that there's a CGI blood smear that disappears when the camera pans back to where it should be. The acting is good, but we don't really get anyone to root for except for Marissa Tomei, and she dies, so yeah. Sure, Dimitri is our main character, but he's a criminal. The journey he goes on takes him from main drug kingpin of Staten Island to John McClane saving the girl, and it doesn't really work. He's clearly not an awful human being, but it's also kind of hard to root for him. He is pretty badass, though. This is the first Purge movie not to be directed by James DeMonico. Instead, it was directed by Gerard McMurray, his second feature film, and he does a pretty good job. The pacing is also pretty good. Unfortunately, this movie is full of missed opportunities. When the enemy soldiers are going upstairs to get Dimitri's friends, and Dimitri is chasing them, why would you not show the floor levels every time they go up one? I mean, yeah, they do eventually, but why wouldn't you do that from the very beginning? It would have made this scene a lot more tense. The score is 2.25 out of 5. Number 3 is the Forever Purge. This is another middling one. The acting is solid, but the characters are all one or two-dimensional. It's a cool idea, but it also completely undoes the progress that the heroes made in the third movie. The action is some of the best in the franchise, but the music is kind of forgettable.
Get to the wall! Get to the wall! Come on, come on, come on, come on! Get to the wall! Eli, get back! They got a 50 caliber.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
Let's use it as cover. Let's go. You guys go to the wall. Get cover. Get cover. To the diner. The diner. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on, we're gonna go. Come on. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Put your head down when you come in. Keep your body down. Go.
Like the rest of the franchise, this movie explores its themes with all the subtlety of a hammer, but it still manages to make some good points, so that's something. It's well shot and well edited, so I'll give it that much. Kind of a tangent here. I realize that going to Mexico is thematically relevant to this movie, but that's also kind of stupid because the border is a bottleneck in this situation, as we see, and that would be an easy target for Forever Purgers. Our characters would have been safer had they gone north. About 100 miles north of El Paso is a military base in New Mexico called White Sands Missile Range. It's the largest fully instrumented open-air missile range in the country. There's no fucking way the government would let Forever Purgers grab a bunch of missiles, so you know damn well it's going to be heavily guarded and fortified. So if you can get up to that base, you'll be fine. But no, they had to go south across the border because it's thematically relevant. Pfft. Amateurs. I'm kidding, though. It's a decent movie. I mean, I'm not kidding. That would have been smarter, but it works for the story. My score is 2.5 out of 5. Number 2 is The Purge Election Year. First off, love the tagline. Second, this is the movie that threw a wrench into the franchise's timeline. It's set at least 10 years after the second movie, but the returning characters, Leo Barnes and Dante Bishop, don't look 10 years older. So, what's up with that?
What's up with that? What's up with that? Ooh-wee. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Ooh, yeah. Stop. Yeah.
This one has slightly better action than Anarchy. The fight between Leo and Earl Danziger is especially badass. The acting is solid and the musical score is pretty good. Most of the characters don't get much development, but the leads are at least somewhat fleshed out. My score is 3 out of 5. Finally, my number 1 is The Purge Anarchy. For better or worse, this is the one that saved the franchise. It took all of that wasted potential from the first movie and put most of it to good use. We actually get to see how the Purge affects society on a larger scale, and it's pretty effective. The acting is probably the best in the franchise. The characters here have the most depth and development.
They were right behind us. What the fuck is that? What do we do?
It's over here. Get it. It's over.
No! Ah!
The action is consistently good, the musical score is also good, It's still far from perfect, but it's the best we've gotten so far. My score is 3.5 out of 5. Hey everyone, let me know what you think in the comments. What's your ranking? Like and subscribe and all that. If you don't like the video, subscribe anyway so you can tell me how bad my other stuff is. I like feedback. That's all for now. Stay safe in these crazy times.